Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Slug. Ba'ashem HaRakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Paya Allah. Update. The date today is the 26th of February, 2023. The year when the hopeful year when all prophecies come to pass. Okay. So, news and prophecy and news, filtering current events, updating you on current events, and filtering it through or measuring the time with the measurement of the prophecies within the Bible. All right. So, I got a few articles kind of strapped for time. So, I want to try and make the most of what I have with 3 articles. And Lord willing, you'll be edified. So, the first one's from Zero Edge. It says the media is racist. Elon Musk slams coverage of Scott Adams' cancelled Dilbert controversy. Okay? So it says shortly after the coordinated cancellation of Dilbert cartoons from numerous media outlets, Elon Musk responded on Twitter to the media's clear bias in reporting the events. In the early hours of Sunday morning, Musk replied to tweet summarizing the debacle around Adams' comments. MSM verdict. Adams is a racist, but not the 20 million black people who thinks it's not okay to be white. Alright? Now, really, in this, as I've read through bits and pieces of this whole debacle, really they're both are racist. Alright? Adams is racist, and his reaction is kind of justified, but because if you have certain, but I say his reaction is justified, but I'm really kind of saying to an extent, because where he took it just lets you know what he's on. All right, he clearly is a racist. All right, but then Jake as well. They have some Jake. You can see that they have like a real real racist peripheral on Esau when dealing with so-called white people. All right, because the question may be that, well, some people are jealous or some people just don't really fucking like no white people. All right. And it's kind of funny because there's one thing, I saw a clip yesterday, man, on Instagram, and she was funny. And it was like, as soon as I saw the clip, I was like, oh no, I know what's going to happen. It was a UK clip. There's a woman making like chicken tenders, yeah, or like chicken strips. And basically, she seasoned the chicken in the tray that it came in. So she didn't wash it. She just straight up bang, slapped on the seasoning and got busy. And that was just, I knew straight away. And there was one guy, and it's funny because he looked like either had like a real light skin, um, you know, a lighter shaded, dark skinned man, or a white person. He said, yeah, as soon as I saw this, I said I had to look at the comments because he knew where it would be. And he go in the comments and it's just Jake just obliterating, like saying nasty, like don't have to clean your chicken, da 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 da. And then you just have Esau in there saying like, well, you don't have to clean it once it's gonna get cooked a certain amount of, So there's like many pockets on the internet, in social media, where these biases are playing out, and they're gonna boil over and come to the forefront of into the streets, where you're gonna have like people really starting to fuck one another up. All right, you see that with the whole Antifa and the right, far right activist groups, coming head to head. Different things that happen, like what's his name, Rittenhouse, Carl Rittenhouse, and these different things that basically happen. All right, BLM, all that type of stuff. So I'm not gonna read these tweets, but I'm just gonna get straight to the article. Actually, let me read the tweets a little bit. Let me see what it says. So it says, monitoring bias. Adams was horrified that a poll of black people showed only half believe it's okay to be white. He called this hate and recommended white people live far away from blacks. I mean, I'll read on. So Elon Musk said, in all, the media is racist. All right. So yeah, I'll just read this a little bit, and I'll give you the scriptures. Hundreds of newspapers, lucky. Hundreds of newspapers will no longer carry long-running Dilbert office cartoon with after creator Scott Adams said white people should stay the fuck away from blacks, a demographic he called a hate group. All right. Now, this reaction, is one thing, but this is what you need to remember. I can't remember where it is. Job 20, I think it is. Yeah. So this is Job 20 and 10, which reads, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. All right. So Esau is seeking to please the poor with this, in effect, by basically, reacting in this manner, dealing with this, because, they have an agenda to play out. They, Israel is the children of the Most High, and let's work down the line with the recent events that have happened in the news, dealing with the Maxine, all right, that jumper, that shooting a J, all right. They wanted people to take that, all right. Mainly, there was a big drive for what so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans to take it. That's why you had Juvenile saying "Vax that, max that ass up," all right, singing songs, different people trying to market it to Israel, all right. That was because why? In it, they said that it had a concoction that basically would compromise your quote unquote God gene, all right. So basically take away your your desire, all right, within your spirit to basically worship the Heavenly Father. So this is Esau understanding that there's a superior bond beyond anything in this earth, all right, that Jake is aligned with the Heavenly Father, but he's set on what? Disrupting that bond with the Heavenly Father by eliminating that, or, well, he believes that he can disrupt that bond with the Heavenly Father by basically, compromising your God gene, all right? But then at the same time, this man being Satan, the devil, all right, manifest in the flesh, is basically doing everything to deceive the masses of the people. All right, remember he's been loose for a season to deceive. So when you see these things where it says he shall seek to please the poor, this is short lived, because you have to remember scriptures like this as well. All right. It's the book of Sirach, the 12th chapter, and the 10th verse, which reads, never trust thine enemy, all right? And you, the children of Israel, you have enemies. When you go into the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, it speaks to the curses that we're under, and it speaks to a nation being sent against us, all right? And basically, it actually says outright that we shall serve our enemies, all right? And who was that? Esau, Edom, all right? But then also he had many other nations that are confederate with him, as it tells you in the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, all right? Ham, and the Arabs, all right, one. And then also it outlines, and it has an extension of our enemies in the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, all right? So you have to understand all these things at play is all to compromise you being of the, well, only you serving the Heavenly Father, but the elect are going to be, they ain't going to be moved to the left, to the right. They're going to be kept according to their law. All right, so this is Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and had looked, and shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. So this man, no matter what he does, come down, couch and humble himself. Hey, that ain't the case, man. This man is wicked inherently. All right, it's in his bones, in his marrow, pumping through his veins. Verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. And that's what happened in the Dark Ages. All right, Jacob allowed him to stand beside him, and look where we're at now. All right, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Yeah, be cut to the heart and say, shit, I read this. And see, this is what happened. All right, and this is something you have to keep in mind now, because you won't be pricked in your heart. You'll be literally pricked with that jumper, man. All right, or worse, what even more worse would be the karugma. All right, that would be the prick that once you feel that, next thing is the fires of hell, of Hades. All right, and I mean the fire of the ICBMs. All right, I'm just playing with it and being poetic. Verse 13. Who will pity a charmer who is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? All right, and this serpent, this great dragon, he'd be sent to bite you with that cannula, man, and put that MOTB in your flesh. So let me read this last one on this point, and let me read a little bit more. Damn. Proverbs 12 and 10. A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. So this man's tender mercies are cruel. All right. So anyway, with that reaction, it don't mean, oh yeah, Jake, we're finally being respected. Really, if anything, it's kind of emboldening that energy of Jake feeling like they can chat shit to Esau, and that there's gonna be no ramifications from having that kind of an attitude. Because even me, like, sometimes I see Jake, man, out here, and I see some of the things they say, I'm like, damn, nigga, you don't know how racist that sounds, man. Like, you say that shit to, like, all that, you don't even know when certain things, there's a fallout later on down the line. People, that's what's going to be in the back and forth, the back, front, side to side of a man's mind. They're going to be thinking, well, this guy, he says this about me. Because I've had people react to me a certain way in work or whatever. And I know, you seen that on social media. And you think we're all like that. And that's really what it's perpetuating. See, it's setting the tone. It's basically putting the pieces in place. Right? Those remarks in a recent episode of his Real Coffee with Scott Adams podcast came after he shared his unsettling results of a Rasmussen poll when asked if they agree with the statement, it's okay to be whack. 26% of black. And what kind of fucking question is that, man? It just seemed like a real, like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? But you see, that question, because to me, it just sounds like, what the fuck is that? But that question is obviously set up to provoke a certain response. And they got it, all right? 20% of blacks disagreed and 21% weren't sure, all right? So in addition, the U.S. Today network, which includes the Arizona Republic, St. Augustine, Record, Courier Journal, But anyway, I'll read that little point. When asked if they agree with the statement, it's okay to be white, 26% of blacks disagreed and 21% weren't sure. All right, so that's basically like 48. I mean, it ain't 50, ain't the predominant, but it's basically more or less like 50%. Okay, so with that being said, that shows you, and the sentiment's only gonna, because some people might have, not even said the true answer. They might have omitted to say, man, I ain't saying that, but they still feel some kind of a way. All right, and this is really something that was established from the beginning. So it's the book of Genesis 25 and 23. So it reads, it says, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. This is basically, the divide being, set, all right? Because, she inquired and she said, why am I fussed? And, they were basically struggling together. They were fighting each other. So this is a dynamic that played out from the very beginning, and it's only going to continue in the times that we're in, all right? So let's read this in the book of Obadiah. Should I actually just go into Obadiah? Salakia, man. I got a big side. Obadiah, man. All right, says Obadiah 1 and 10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, even thou wast as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. All right? So you can read on. But I want to jump to the main point of the prophetic words of what's to happen. All right? Because he speak to the state of things and how they are. But let's read into what's going to actually happen. All right? So it's a book of 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world, destruction to the world, all right? And them that dwell therein. So not only the infrastructure, the rulership that's set in place, the age that we're in, but also the people that dwell within it, all right? And it's been a point, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands, all right? So there's going to be one people standing up to fight against another. All right, it's going to be divides established, and we're seeing those things being made. All right, with articles like this, and debacles like this, they're basically building the sentiment. And really, Elon Musk saying something like this, he's someone that's juiced in, says everything. The media is racist, and the media is the main people at the forefront of perpetuating an agenda. All right, predictive programming. So this is really, setting a stage for what's to come in the future. All right, the love of many is waxing cold, and it's gonna play out with the divides of race. Also, we've read in the book, it says in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, that everyone shall flee to their own people. All right, because everyone, they go to what they know when things get on top. So I'll read it again. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right? So let's move on. So you see, this controversy is just another, block being put on top of what's being put in place in terms of racism at the forefront, because he literally just said all black people is a hate group. That's just some crazy shit, man. That's some wild shit to say, man. Said that's basically saying, that's like declaring war on a whole race, right? Because you're saying they're a hate group. They're basically that T-era word, you know? So let's move on. So I haven't checked out these articles, but we see, I'm going to jump from bit to bit. I'm just going to pick out the little bits. So I might even just play this.
In the flash flood warning right now, just to the east of the Pasadena area. This is in Los Angeles County, and the flash flood warning continues until 10 p.m. tonight. And there's actually been stranded motorists reported down near LAX in Los Angeles. So all this water is flowing in the direction of downtown. A ton of rainfall, several inches of rain, even up over 6 inches being indicated up in the higher terrain, up into the San Gabriel Mountains, and all that is flowing down. Anything below 3,500 feet is falling as liquid water, and all of that is contributing to this flood situation this evening. And it's only going to get worse as we get a little bit closer to 10 p.m. across the Los Angeles area. A lot of this is going toward downtown, and it's happening during rush hour. Peak rush hour is happening right now, and there's a lot of videos out there already of stranded motorists in those low-lying areas. This right here is a flash flood. This is ripping. Normally, this is a dry wash, and you can see a ton of water flowing down this, and these water levels are going to continue to rise all the way through evening, definitely through 10 p.m., and then the flash flood warnings will likely be extended after that. In the higher terrain above 4,000 feet, the blizzard warnings prevail, and that includes Wrightwood that is just getting hammered by potentially over 2 feet of snow tonight. The higher terrain up there could see 5 or 6 feet of snow, including up near Inspiration Point. But just look at all the water coming down this wash, and every single one of these washes are characterized by rising water. They're flooded out. These are normally dry. Unless it starts to rain heavily, then they fill up like this, and they can flood areas downstream, those low-lying areas, areas that are catch the water as well. All of this is flowing in that direction toward Los Angeles, and the flash flood warning continues through this evening and will likely be extended beyond that.
America's different, bro.
The sun is a welcome sight after weeks of rain and storms soaked the Golden State. The final round of rain in a series of...
So, yeah. Let me check the other one. Let's read a little bit of this. So, in the Los Angeles area, snow up high and flooding down below. This is in LA. This ain't even like, you know, further up north. We're not talking like San Fran or, you know, anywhere bordering, is it Oregon? That's north of California. I would believe so, right? Which I know is more, you know, has that more of terrain where it can snow and be more like volatile to blizzards and north, that type of stuff. But this just shows you the hand of the Heavenly Father. So it says, Los Angeles, as steady snowfall continued to present hazards in mountains of Southern California on Saturday, residents at lower elevations dealt with the fallout from a more familiar threat, flooding. Intense rains and powerful winds that pounded Los Angeles and surrounding counties on Friday night and early Saturday, producing significant flooding in urban areas, downed trees and threatened to cause mudslides. Right? So you see these issues, it basically, the fallout of it all is a myriad of of problems, man, of consequence. It starts with one thing and then it spirals into many other different things. Multiple water rescues were conducted across counties because of rising waters, said Ariel Cohen, a meteorologist from National Weather Service in Los Angeles, one person in Santa Barbara County, which also experienced some flooding, was injured after strong winds caused a tree to fall into a home, and in Inglewood, falling trees crushed a line of cars, taking out power lines, he said. All right, so we know what it is, the Heavenly Father talking, man. So this is Isaiah 29:6. It reads, Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and with flame of devouring fire. All right? The Heavenly Father shows himself, okay? And he's showing himself now. Let's read this in the book of Luke 21, 28, is it? What is it? 8. So, no, that's not what I want. Let me just read this. It's the book of 2 Ezra 9. And I'll start from 1. And that's lucky. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. Right, which we're seeing with things like this playing out. All right. That's the last one I'm going to read. It says, Ohio is from ground. Ohio train derailment, contamination fears spread beyond East Palestine. Concerns range from boiled water in Columbus to wastewater disposal in Houston. So this is building upon, what I mentioned before, dealing with Ohio, all right? And I just uploaded a clip, and I never realized until I watched it again in the movie. Actually, I don't think I've got it on a timer. It's scheduled to be viewable, but it should be viewable by the time you see this anyway, Lord willing. And depends on your country, actually. You might not be able to see it. I don't know who it's not regular. It's who's not able to see it. But the point being is Salakia. In Time with Justin Timberlake. In that movie, the area he came from is called Dayton, all right? And where's the main Dayton that you know in America? I did look it up, and there's other Daytons, but the only Dayton I've only known of is that of Ohio, all right? Dayton, Ohio. So basically, that place that, it was fucked up and you're all poor and you're living on no more than 24 hours in a day, that was, represented Ohio. All right. So Ohio seems like the key point, and I'm not saying it. I'm kind of extrapolating, reading in between the lines. But Ohio seems like the main place, and how they propped it up through the memes and all that kind of shit. Because now it's like got that whole Florida stigma. All right. Ohio seems like the main place they're trying to well, more so this is the point. Ohio, what's happened in Ohio has affected the rest of America ineffectively, in effect. So let's read a little bit of this. You know what? It's connecting me to the. I can't read that. Let's just read this. So it says, "Sound like Mickey Mouse, East Palestine." It's from New York Post, nypost.com. Sound like Mickey Mouse, East Palestine residents shock illness after derailment. East Palestine, Ohio, Wade Lovitz been having trouble breathing since the February 3rd Norfolk South train derailment and toxic explosion here. In fact, his voice sounds as if he's inhaling helium. Alright, that's them toxins. Alright. Doctors say I definitely have the chemicals in me, but there's no one in town who can run the toxicological test to find out which ones they are. And hey, didn't I read in the last one, they said they're going to set up a clinic where they're going to basically check everyone out. Right, even, I don't know if I mentioned it about the Joe Budden, I think I did, about Joe Budden's interview. And he basically said, the guy in there told him to, like, the guy that basically waited in the building, he basically got told, yo, stay in the building and wait. Wait for 15 minutes and they'll help you out. Nigga. And they said, yeah, Joe said to him, definitely, when someone tells you to wait, you don't listen to that advice. He said, yeah, don't listen. Whatever they tell you, don't listen. Get the hell out of the building. That's basically where it is, all right? So what they're trying to do is they're just trying to let you sit there and die. Because remember, this is an agenda they're playing out. I read it as well already. Tender mercies of the devil is cruel. He's even wicked to his own people, man. You don't give a shit about Jake. Last people's gonna care about you, man. You dumb Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. You don't give a flying fuck about his own people, man. All right. So it says, doctors say I definitely have the chemicals in me, but there's no one in town that can blah 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 blah. Love It 40, an auto detailer, says in an extremely high-pitched voice, my voice sounds like Mickey Mouse. My normal voice is low. It's hard to breathe, especially at night. My chest hurts so much at night, I feel like I'm drowning. I cough up phlegm a lot. I lost my job because the doctor won't release me to go to work. Damn, man. Despite his health woes, love it. His fiancée, Tonya Irwin, 45, spent last Thursday delivering bottled water to locals. They picked up new cases outside a home on East Clark Street, and has become the heart of East Palestine's homegrown campaign to fight back against the forces that upended the lives of roughly 4,700 residents and their animals. All right, so yeah, man. Ooh. Yeah, so that's the game, man. They want to fuck you up, man. Meditate. What I could do. I'll read this. It's a book of Revelation 6 and 6. And it says, 6 and 4, sorry. 6 and 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse. The horse represents power. When you measure a car's power, it's measured by horsepower, because a car is basically a reimagination of a horse. All right, no new thing under the sun. All right, it's the combination of a horse and a chariot in one. All right, that's why it's measured in horsepower, and even the word car goes back to chariot. But reading on it, says that was red. All right, the red represents Esau, Edom, other one, which means red. All right, because it tells you Esau is Edom in Genesis 36. So anyway, reading on. And the power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And it was given unto him a great sword. Man, this is what Esau's been given. He's been, and there's no, really have to understand to what depths that really, resonates at, because this man was given a sword to destroy the earth and to kill one another. All right, so ultimately they're gonna kill one another by America being destroyed, by being led, America's destruction, all right, being led by Russia, as well as their former allies with NATO and the EU destroying America, which also signifies the downfall of Esau, Edom, all right, symbolizing defeat of the beast in the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter, all right, which symbolizes Esau's end. But also, in the midst of that, man, him having that level of spirit is happening in the lead up to that end, all right, because this man is basically killing anything moving, all right, through his just sabotaging and destroying of the world, all right. So yeah, that's the update for today. Lord willing, you've been edified. I'll get hopefully through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem El Shai. In the next few days, I'll give you another update. So with that, I'd like to say shalom, shalom.